Hey you guys, I am so freaking excited. I'm here with Christy and literally you guys are just gonna love her. I just adore your energy. And it's our first time like really talking live. And her cat, oh my gosh, cute. And for those of you watching on YouTube, you can see like how cute this is. Um, if you were one of the lucky women who came to last year's Rise Summit, she was one of our speakers, and I feel like she just left us with so many amazing little nuggets that I'm like, we have to have a podcast episode. And this has been a very long time in the making. We've been talking for a long time about this, and I'm not going to get into the details, but I've had to cancel 5 million times because life was crazy last year. So, about Christy, she moved into the shadow work space over 9 years ago as she began her own personal journey. And through that time, she was led to complete different trainings, such as like Reiki 1, 2, master level. She's touched on Akashic records, past life regressions, art therapy, and also trauma informed healing. So, we love this, like so many things. She's consistently looking to learn more tools that she can use, just to help people, right? As she's guiding them through the shadow work process. And her favorite part of this work is uncovering other women's journey to their passion, bringing them back into alignment with their soul and with their purpose. And I know that's something that we all really want right now. She's a dedicated cat mom, artist, plant lover, garden grower, a loyal friend, and family member. And she's just so passionate about serving others and providing a safe space for all of us to heal. Hey, friend, welcome to the Ready to Rise podcast. This is the podcast for ambitious, successful women who've checked off all the boxes: the career, the routines, the self-help books, and therapy. We've done it all. But if you are still feeling numb, stuck, or like you're just going through the motions, you're in the right place. Because I've totally been there, and I've healed myself using the tools that I now teach. I got certified in them so that I could help other women do the same. I'm your host, Audrey Rose, a registered nurse and somatic life coach, and I'm here to help you stop just coping, stop just going through the motions, and actually start feeling good again in your life, feeling happy again. Each week, we explore nervous system regulation, emotional wellness, and rituals that are rooted in ancient wisdom, ancient practices, so you can stop just going through the motions and stop just getting by and start really feeling lit up and alive and fully plugged in again. This is about real happiness, the kind that fills your body, lights you up, and helps you create a life that you are obsessed to wake up for. So are you ready? Because I'm excited to help you feel like you again. And I'm so excited to have you on, first of all. And I just would love to hear, how you got into shadow work and kind of what shadow work is for people who don't know, and kind of go from there.
So we'll start with what I call my main awakening, because I had like a little mini one earlier, and then obviously I had a bunch of stuff happen when I was a kid. But about it's probably 10 years now, about 9 or 10 years ago, I found myself in this position where I had just spent the last year, and I had, over an 8-month time span, lost 6 friends and family members. Starting 3 days after my birthday with my cousin, my oldest cousin, like first cousin, and then like going into more family members, my uncle, a great aunt, 2 friends at the same time. It just was
Wow.
6 people over that period of time, and I found myself over the next year just in a position where I felt like I was drowning, and I knew therapy wasn't it for me. And I love if therapy works for people. If it works for you, great, do it. It did not work for me. I had been in and out of therapy since I was 14, 15, and it was never something that really jived. All it really did for me was it gave me permission to bypass onto other people and to blame other people. It got me aware that I was abused, but then I blamed the abuser instead of looking within and actually moving past the trauma and healing it and letting it go. And so I found myself in a position where I was just desperate and willing to try anything. And my best friend, who is a yoga instructor, she was like, well, we host these meditation classes at the studio, and she's pretty cool. It's like a group meditation, but it's different. And I went, and she became my mentor for about 3 or 4 years because the way she did meditation was different and involved a lot of energy work. She saw, like, I still to this day wonder all of the things that she could see when she was working with someone. It was that crazy, some of the sessions that I had with her. But I remember sitting in a session one on one with her, probably the first, maybe the second session I had with her. And I said, I feel like I'm drowning. And she's like, I literally see you in this hole, just holding your face above water, trying to keep yourself going. And that is how I felt. That is everything that I felt that I was encompassing at that time. And so I started, not realizing it at the time, doing deep inner work, doing the deep shadow work. And shadow work is quite literally, very simply put, taking a piece of yourself that you have put in a box and shoved away in a closet and hidden behind a whole bunch of bullshit. Um, and you are taking that version of you out of the box. You are looking at them, you are listening to them, and you are seeing them fully. And you are letting them act however they need to act in the moment. You are letting them say whatever they need to say in the moment. You are letting them be fully experienced, and then fully held, and then fully loved by you. So you can then release whatever they went through and let it go, because all that version of you wants is to be held and to be loved. And that version of you can be an inner child, an inner teenager, a version of you from a year ago. It can be a past life version of you. It does not matter. It can be your ego. There's so many different versions of you that just need a space to be held and seen and heard. And that is what shadow work is. It's just giving you the space to see yourself. And so that is what I started to do with this mentor. And within a year, I just got the intuitive hit, like, every one of my friends at the time were going to yoga teacher training. And I'm like, but I don't want to do what the cool kids are doing. I want to do what I want to do. And
So
so they're all doing yoga teacher training. And she's looking at me. She's like, well, what do you want to do? I'm like, well, I want to do Reiki. And within a week, I was in a Reiki 1 class. And 6 months later, I was in Reiki 2. And the following year, I was in as doing my Reiki master training. And during this entire time, I was also in grad school, going for a master's in children's book illustration specifically. And then I had taken a break right when I started. I took a semester off and that summer off and then went back. And then as I completed my Reiki master training, I'm like, okay, I want to start working with people, and there's more I can be doing. What else do I need to know? And I was introduced to my next mentor, who works with the Akashic records. And so I did a session with her, and that stuck with me. And so, like, a year after that, I messaged her. I'm like, how do I do this? How do
yeah.
I learn more about this? And she pointed me to the training. And then after continuing to work with her, like, over, like, maybe once or twice a year, I don't see her very often, I we ended up talking, and she trained me in a different version of how to do these. So I have like 2 different ways to go into the records. And then it just slowly like accumulated. Like as I was graduating grad school, I was doing the Akashic Records training. And then as I was doing the Akashic Records training, I'm like, well, I want to do past life regression, but I couldn't find someone to train me in past life regression. And as I started building my business and networking with people and working with people, taking on like people just to, be able to get ref I don't know, network. I took on free clients just
Yeah,
so I could have people to be like, this is what I do, give me some kind of like little video talking about your experience or
totally.
something. And like in response to that, they loved the work that I did with them so much that like one of them was like, you can have anything off my website. And I'm like, don't you have past life regression training? And she's like, yes. And I'm like, can I do that? She's like, absolutely.
Oh
So
my
like
gosh.
things just came together because I knew what I wanted to do. I knew things that I wanted. And so like that is how I got into shadow work, is I kind of just fell into it because I was desperate. And then it slowly allowed my connection with God to grow and my intuition to grow. And I just kept following the path and things just kept unfolding. And I'm like, this is the thing that I'm going to need next. And I eventually found it. And this is the thing that I'm going to need next. Oh, okay, here we go. And so I kept getting all of the stuff. And I'm like, okay, now I have all of the stuff. Now let's start serving the women. And so that's kind of where we're at today, where I'm now a shadow work coach and I am coaching women, and it's my favorite job I have ever had.
That's so awesome. I love it so much. I when I think of shadow work, sometimes I think of this really big, really scary, very deep, and it feels like something I want to avoid, right? Because it's so big, right? It's like that Pandora's box feeling. Like I don't know what's going to come out. I'm scared to do so much work. Like it just feels so big and so heavy. And I love the way that you're talking about everything because it feels manageable and
Mhm.
it feels good. It just feels good. Like I do want to take that 3-year-old version of myself out and just be like, let me give you a big hug and just kind of go through the feelings. And what you were saying, like with shoving things down, it's literally like, I don't think I realized, I think because obviously it's like that whole high achieving thing, right? Where we stay so busy and we put more things on our plate to avoid realizing that we've shoved so many things down. If we stay really busy, we're not going to like notice. And I had this a couple of months ago. Um, I used to work back in the day, as a COVID nurse, and it was a pop-up unit. So it was kind of like this unit we took over where we usually don't work. And I hadn't worked there since for the most part. And I didn't realize like how much had happened, that I had really just shoved so much trauma down basically during that whole time that we were working. And I never really unpacked it fully. And so walking onto that unit recently and working up there again, we took like overflow patients and we were kind of doing the whole, it felt the same. It was like the same nurses that went up and staffed it and the same kind of vibes. And it all came rushing back. And I had to go and like sit in the break room for a while. And I just couldn't stop crying. It just all hit me at once. But that moment just really triggered me so much to realize that we shove things down so often. And it might be something really big, like the whole COVID thing, right? That was like a big thing. Or it could be something that's so small that maybe we don't realize affected us so much at 3 years old or as a teenager. And, we don't know how to bring that up ourselves to work on it. We're not having that big trigger, like I just explained. And so working with somebody like you, I feel like really can help us to kind of just process. And I really want to talk about Akashic records. I'm like obsessed with that and I know very minimal. But with Reiki, is there like kind of a way that you can work with somebody and that you can, I'm just putting words in your mouth. I don't know. I want to like dive in, but are we able to kind of like work with somebody and you can kind of bring things up and help them to release things that maybe they are not aware of yet?
You can. Reiki is more physical. And
Mhm.
so the way I see it is with any kind of healing, there's layers, right? There's the mental, there's the physical, and there's the spiritual.
Mhm.
And so when you are working, you want to release whatever trauma it is from all three layers. You want to bring in the awareness and the clarity around the pattern, whatever the pattern is. And that's going to start to release it from the mental loops. And then you're going to want to release it spiritually. So you're going to want to do the energetic work, which is the Reiki, the body work, the somatics, all of that to regulate your nervous system. And then to ground all of that in, which is the step most people miss, you have to take new physical action. You have to do something to change your circumstances. And that's the part that most people miss. They do the energetic work, they do the mindset work, but then they are constantly running back through those loops. They'll go to a Reiki session and then a month later, they're experiencing the same thing because Reiki and energy work is all designed, yes, to help release your body from that, help you clear all of that out. Somatic work is the same way, but it's not meant to stick unless you change your state yourself. You have to then follow it up with physical action for all of that energy work and mindset work to actually stick. So you then have to go out into the world and do something to physically change that loop and that mindset and all of that. Be that setting a boundary, be that literally quitting your job. It could be as simple as being like, no, I'm not going to go out with you, or I'm going to quit my job today. There's two extremes. There's that simple or that extreme. So it just depends on the situation, what is called for, and how that's going to solidify so you can then actually shift your state and heal and release it altogether.
It's like getting your diet back on track and doing some big, huge detox. And it's like you can't go out and keep eating hamburgers every day or whatever, right? Pizza, whatever your thing is. Like we really have to work. We still have work to do. Okay, I
Mm-hmm.
love that. Can we touch on Akashic records? Like, tell me all the freaking things. Like I don't even know. I know that's very broad, but I would love to hear.
So, the Akashic Records, for those who don't know, simply put, is like a library of souls. Um, Literally any soul that has ever existed, past, present, future, it can be located in this library. And this library is in the fifth dimension. So you've got your physical realm, which is where we're located, the 3D. You've got the 4D, which is the mental realm. And then you've got the 5D, which is the spiritual realm. And in the spiritual realm, which is energy, we have all of our souls. And whether they're alive or not, you can go into the Akashic records and access these souls. You do need to have permission. And there is some, like, there are people who say you can just go in and access the records, and that may be accurate, but they may not be doing it in a way that is appropriate
Okay.
because you do need to have permission to access a record for a specific soul. Um, and know how to ask the questions in a way that is going to get you the answers. One way I like to explain it when I do sessions with clients, because I like to work a lot in the records with my clients, is you need to be specific. Because if you give the records half-ass questions, it's going to give you half-ass answers. It wants specific, in like, it wants you to be clear, it wants you to be specific. So whatever your intention is, be clear and specific. So if you're going into the records, it can't just be, I just want to know whatever you need to tell me today. That's
Um,
way too vague. The records are going to have a field day with that. They're just going to give you a bunch of random BS and you're going to leave confused because they're just going to give you vague answers. If you go in with an intention, I want to or I would like to, what's a good intention? Now I have to think about it. Hold on. I would like to learn what is holding me back from being fully present in my relationship. Like, that's an intention that the records will be like, okay, bet. I can give you some information. And we might end up talking to your ego in that session, and we might end up talking to a past life version of you. It depends on what's called for based off the intention.
I'm like loving this. So we can come in, do like, yeah, and you can do coaching further within in that because you're able to access and kind of learn like where we need to go from there.
Yeah, so a session, one of those particular sessions, like I have a blueprint session where I will start every client off with inside my program, where I'm going through and I'm giving you exactly what your blueprint looks like the very first time you ever incarnated. And that shows you exactly what we need to do to align to your soul. So, how you make choices, how you do things, what your strengths are, what your talents are. And then it gives us some blocks and restrictions that may be holding you back, which are just choices that you've made that took you out of alignment, that probably caused some trauma, and now you're out of alignment. So we need to, again, solidify that with the healing, which I do. And then we go in and figure out an action plan so you can take new action to come back into alignment with your soul. And then the further sessions I have are the ones I was talking about previously, where it's more meditative and I guide you through like a guided meditation of sorts. And you're talking to me while I'm guiding you through it, and we're in your records, and you're telling me what you're experiencing, and I'm telling you what questions to ask and where to go next and what to do next, so we can do real-time healing. And then after that, once we come back out, we can come up with an action plan based off of what came up in the session.
I love this. Like this just feels, I don't know, it feels so good. Can you do them virtually?
Yeah, I do it all virtually.
Oh my gosh, this is so cool. Like it just sounds I just like this kind of healing. Like it goes back to kind of what you were saying like with talk therapy like because personally talk therapy is amazing. It's great in so many things, but I feel like when I did it, I would just kind of sit there and say what they wanted to hear and just kind of like get them off my case. But I'm the one that went there in the first place. It was weird. But with this, it's something that's so much more, I don't know. It's just like you said, like it's on these different levels and all these different kind of aspects that go into this so that you're able to really kind of check in. And I think when you check in deep in that kind of meditative state or something that's a little bit deeper like that, you're getting to the truth, right? You're not
Right.
just kind of staying up in your head and just saying whatever somebody wants to hear. I mean, you're truly checking in, and that's like where we can do so much of the real healing. And it doesn't have to be so, it just sounds so scary, I think sometimes, or like it's going to be so much to have to do, the deep work or something like that. But it's truly just relieving.
Mm-hmm.
Hey friend, I am so excited to pop in here really quick and announce that the Rise retreats are back. So if you've been feeling exhausted or irritated or like you just overall lost your spark, but you can still go to work and crush it, right? Pick up the kids, do all the things. Then you feel later like you're just going through the motions, right? You're numbing with wine, you're leaving all your friends on red, you're yelling at your husband because he cannot find the ketchup again. Like, absolutely, I've been there because it's right in front of his face, honestly. But still, right? This is the sign that your nervous system is trying to just tell you that it's overwhelmed. It can't take anymore, right? And I know that this is trending on Instagram, but the thing is, you really don't need to just quit your career that you've worked your brains off for, right? No. So it's time to just process some of the stress, regulate our nervous system, reset, so that we can hear ourselves again, right? We can relax, we can feel like ourselves again. And Some of us don't really know where to start. Like that was me a few years ago on my burnout journey. I had no idea where to start when I started to feel all of these things, exhausted, irritated, all of that. And that is what Rise retreats are for. So we are going to be meeting for a 3-day experience. This retreat is going to be in the hills of Castro Valley, California. It's so freaking gorgeous. This is like a huge, beautiful gated house up in the, mountains. We have all of these really beautiful balconies that are like in the trees. I can't even explain. Like, pictures are on IG. You have to check it out because it is freaking gorgeous. We are going to be meeting October 9th through 11th, and there are just very limited spots. I keep them very intimate so that I can truly dive in with each of you and kind of tailor the experience, right? A few spots are already taken. I know. And the link is in the show notes, or, DM me personally so that we can connect. We can get on a little coffee chat and just find out if it's a good fit for you. And you can come and join us. When you can come back into alignment and just feel like yourself again and just feel just aligned, like that
Right.
version. Yeah.
And to touch on what you were saying earlier, you were talking about triggers. Like, a trigger is just a shadow speaking up. It's just a shadow screaming, "Hey, I don't feel safe. Make me feel safe. This, if you do this, if you run away, if you do this thing, if you say this thing, if you react this way, that's going to make me feel safe. And I know that because it's worked before. That's going to keep me protected." That is all a trigger is. So when you feel triggered, you just have to take a moment and be like, "No, we are safe.
Mm.
We're okay. You're okay. I've got you. I see you. I hear you. I love you, but I've got you. And I understand why you want to react this way, but we can do this a better way. We can set a boundary. We can just say no. We don't have to yell and scream. We don't have to run. We don't have to go into fight or flight. I feel everything you're experiencing. I know you don't feel safe, but I am going to make us feel safe. And that's how you get through a trigger. That's how you recognize that the trigger is just a version of you. It's just a shadow that is screaming for attention because it is terrified, because it's been in a situation that has felt like that, and it does not feel safe. And you just need to make it feel safe.
Can you touch a little bit on the awareness that comes into that? Like, I don't know if there's something that you do with clients or just with yourself of being more aware, because I think that it's so easy for us to have that response of running away or staying very busy or whatever it is. But
A,
how do
l-
we, yeah, flip it?
a lot of the time, it comes with doing the work. It comes with recognizing that, hey, I'm in a pattern and this pattern keeps leading me this direction. So say the pattern is, every time I get into an argument with my boyfriend, I get defensive and I yell. And I recognize that that is a negative pattern because I don't want to get defensive and I don't want to yell. And he doesn't like it when I get defensive and he doesn't like it when I yell. This is something I want to change about me, but I don't know why I do this. And then you start to do the work and you recognize that maybe this is about abandonment. I feel abandoned when he brings up this topic. I feel abandoned when he does this thing. And you start to recognize, like, as you do more work and you set the intention, like, it's like I said, the records are very intention focused, and so is this work. If you are doing the shadow work and you're focusing on, I want to know why I react this way, and it slowly starts to come up that, oh, I have abandonment wounds. You start to then work on those abandonment wounds. And then as you work on those abandonment wounds, you start to recognize or even remember when it was you were first abandoned. And in the recognizing and remembering when it was you were first abandoned, you start to then recognize the feelings that you're experiencing match the feelings of when you were first abandoned. And so when you can start to notice that, sometimes it takes time. Sometimes it'll be 48 hours later and you'll be like, oh, I reacted that way because I felt abandoned. And slowly, as you start to do that, even if it's like a week later, as you start to do that more and more, the time starts to shrink until it'll be 20 minutes later and I'll be like, oh, I that was my abandonment wound talking. Oops, my bad. Sorry about that. I've done that. It's fine. It happens. And it's okay. Like, you have permission to be messy. This work is not designed to be perfect immediately. The awareness comes in slowly sometimes. And then sometimes, when it starts to take you only 20 minutes to recognize the pattern, if you keep repeating the pattern, then you are just making an active choice to stay stuck. You are making an active choice to continue to repeat it. Because if your awareness is to the point where 20 minutes later, you're now recognizing, I responded that way because of my abandonment wound, and you still allow yourself to keep responding that way, you're making a choice to keep responding from your abandonment wound. And so it is part discipline.
Mm-hmm.
It's also part grace. You need to understand that it's going to take time, and the awareness will come in slowly as you continue to work with your intention and as you continue to heal.
So good. So good. I feel like everybody needs to listen to that part again, because I think just like there's so much grace that has to come with any of this kind of work that we're doing. We have to. We have to just, but not too much grace, because we also want to change. So just like a good balance. Last year during the summit, you gave like the coolest tip I think I've heard in a very long time. It was just, well, not a tip, but a little tidbit, a little nugget, and just talking about the answer to life and the universe. And you can say it way more eloquently than I can. And there was a shower thought involved, which I love shower thoughts. And so I just want to hear this whole thing. And I know everyone listening does too.
All right. So, once upon a time, when I still lived in my 1 bedroom apartment, I was I think I was going through my training for my Akashic records at the time. And I was in the shower and I had this thought, and I was thinking about this book, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And it's a silly book, okay? It's just silly. It's fiction. And this is your permission to read fiction, because fiction will give you random life lessons that pop up in a shower when you're just having a thought. But in this book, there is a story where someone goes to this planet that has a giant supercomputer on it. And if you think about supercomputers, they're highly logical. So they're going to think in terms of math and science and all of that. So you can ask this supercomputer one question and it'll give you the answer. Okay. And they decided to ask, what is the answer to life, the universe, and everything? And the supercomputer was like, oh, well, that's a really good question. I am going to need some time to think about it. And like billions of years later, they came back and they brought a horde of people and they were having a party and celebration and all of this stuff. And the supercomputer is like, well, you're not going to like the answer. And they're like, well, we need to know it. What is the answer to life, the universe, and everything? And the supercomputer's like, okay, it's 42. And so I'm sitting in the shower remembering this part of the book, and I had just like done a little study of numerology, and I'm thinking in the shower, I'm like, okay, well, if supercomputers think in terms of math and logic and all of that jazz, they were probably using numerology. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like doing the math in my head for different
Oh, I
words
love it.
that in the shower. I'm like, so what would equal 42? And I'm like doing this while I'm showering, and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm pretty sure gratitude equals 42. And so I like went out and like wrote it down and found like a numerology calculator and stuff like that online, and just to like bajillion check myself, gratitude equals 42. And so the answer to life, the universe, and everything is 42. And that is gratitude.
Tell me more.
And
Are you
it's
practicing like gratitude daily? Are you like what yeah, what changed for you after that realization?
um I go through phases where like sometimes I'm just life gets busy. I'm not perfect. I'm not gonna it's it I'm human. But I do my best to practice gratitude daily. I do practice meditation for 20 minutes every morning, and then I follow it up with gratitude. And that usually is just me. Like sometimes the gratitude is as simple as me at the gym and I'm singing Justin Bieber's Alleluia, Everything Alleluia song,
So
because I know it is so good. It is. It's amazing.
yeah.
And honestly, that is gratitude right there. That entire song is practicing gratitude. So it can be that simple, and it can be me sitting after my meditation for a minute or two, just going through that. But like, do I do it every day? Probably not.
Yeah.
No, because
I
I'm
love the
human.
honesty. I feel like this is like the real thing though. This is why I honestly love like hosting a podcast and talking about like the real of things, because I know so often it's like oh yeah, and I do this every single day and I'm so perfect, and it's like no, like we're real, we're humans,
Mm-hmm.
like, and that is part of the healing.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
like my favorite shadow work practice is mirror work. Do I do that every day? No. But did I just do it recently for 30 days in a row? Yes, because I challenged myself to that
Mm,
and held myself to that promise. And then I did it for about a week after the 30 days. I kept going, and then I'm like, no, it feels okay to stop. It
right.
feels good. And I trust in my intuition enough to know that, like, now is a time to do the mirror work. Now is a time to do the meditation. Now is a time for me to do a session in the records with myself. Now is a time, like, I trust that I will know when I need to do that. And I am just getting to the point where it's now, when I feel that intuitive nudge, actually listen to the nudge, because that 30-day mirror work challenge that I did with myself, I took a year to get there. I had known for a year that I needed to sit down and do the mirror work for 30 days in a row, and I put it off because I didn't want to do the work.
Yeah.
And that is just real. That is a human thing where it's like, no, I can do this without the work, and you're just gonna fight with God a little bit. Like, no, God, I don't need to do this. I don't, because you're stubborn, and that's how life works. And eventually you'll be like, okay, fine, I surrender. Let me do this. And then the 30 days are up, and it's like, oh, wait, you're right.
It was
I
nice.
knew, we both knew that you were right.
Yeah.
And I still put it off for a year, but here we are, and you're still right, God. I should have listened a year ago.
Right. Oh my gosh. I just want to thank you so much, like, for sharing your like real human side, because again, like nobody talks about that, and it's just human, like that's just real. And sometimes we do run away from the work and we run away from so many things, but it just makes it that much better when we come back to it, come back into alignment, and feel like ourselves again.
Right. And now I'm to a point where it's like, okay, I trust that when I get this feeling and this nudge to
Mhm.
sit down and do this kind of work, that I need to do it that day or within 24 hours.
Yeah.
And that's not something that I should wait a year. That is something I need to do because there is something there that I need to work through. There's something there that I need to heal. And now that I've done that 30-day challenge with myself, I can recognize, okay, I trust that I'm okay not doing mirror work right now, but meditation every morning feels great.
Yeah.
And that is what I need to focus on right now.
Yeah. Hey, friend, quick question. When was the last time that you felt truly reset? If you've been pushing through exhaustion or kind of spinning your wheels, or maybe noticing that your energy is all over the place, I have something for you. I'm hosting a free 7-day nervous system reset challenge. And this round, I'm super excited to say that we are blending chakra alignment with the daily nervous system practices. So each day, you'll get a new tool like breath work, tapping, or sound healing paired with a chakra that it supports. This is going to be free, 7 days, very powerful, and truly amazing. So if you're ready to feel grounded, more energized, and reconnected to yourself in just 1 week, join us for free. The link is in the show notes below, or if you just go to Instagram, it is there in my bio for you. Can't wait to reset together. I love it. I feel like I just want to talk about all of these things like all day because I'm starting to, as I learn more about especially the Akashic records, I just get so interested. Like it seems so interesting. I think going back and being able to, like use all of these tools together, going back and just doing like a regression or, just going into the records or whatever it is and then using the energy work to clear, and it's just so much like I don't know. I love it. I love that side of healing. I love that it's just so different. And I feel like some people find it, kind of not off putting, but just, I'm not sure about that. I don't know yet, that kind of feeling. But I feel like once you dive in and you just let somebody lead you through this kind of work and then just watch how amazing you feel. Like,
Exactly. And that's why I also like to preface that yes, I do energy work with my clients, but that is only like 10-20% of what we're doing because the rest of it is that physical action. It's holding you accountable. It's you had homework after the session. We only have one session a month where we're doing energy work, right? I'm only working with you once a month to clear energy. And then you have an entire month to then follow it up to take the action to ground that in so we can do something different the next month and not keep working on the same thing. And so a lot of the work I do is really just holding you accountable that rest of the month so you're grounding it in.
yeah,
The energy work, again, it's an hour, 1 day out of the month. Like you're not doing that much energy work. It's really the physical action that is the difference. That is the key because you can do energy work as much as you want, but if you are not grounding it in with physical action, it will not stick. And you're going to keep going back. I don't understand why I keep feeling this way. I don't understand why I keep thinking this way because you're not doing anything to change your circumstances.
yeah,
And that's really where the shadow work coaching comes in. Like, yes, we can do the energy work, but
yeah,
discipline is a big part of it. Discipline and grace, side by side. Be graceful with yourself and understand that if you've never set a boundary before, setting boundaries for the first time is gonna be really, really messy. It's not going to go over well. It's not going to be pretty.
yeah,
And also having the discipline to actually stand up for yourself and set the boundary.
yeah. And having that person there, I think it just makes such a big difference to be able to talk about these things and get that support,
Right.
You it's hard because all of these things can be really hard. But yeah, doing it, that's the whole key.
Mm-hmm.
Because nothing changes if nothing changes. That's been my motto this year. I
Correct.
went through so much last year and it was so hard. It was definitely the hardest year of my life. And probably half of the things I went through could actually have been avoided if I had made changes and if I had really like stuck to certain things and just yeah, done the work, I think. And we fall off at times and there's the grace. But now this year I've been like, okay, nothing changes if nothing changes. Like we got to do the thing. Like you don't want to do this workout or you don't want to set this boundary or you don't want to like you don't feel like you maybe have time to sit down and be super compassionate with somebody about whatever, something that's going on. And that's like so vague, but just doing the work, spending the time. Yes.
Right.
So, ugh, love it. Okay, last little things. If you could tell us, first of all, if you could tell us like where to find you, where do we connect with you? And then second thing, I always love to give everybody like a happiness tip, just some little, thing that they can go do tonight or whatever, something to bring more happiness into their lives.
All right. So I am on, where am I? I'm on Instagram primarily. That is probably the best way to get a hold of me. Also on Facebook and TikTok. I think TikTok, I'm just Christi Capozzi. Instagram and Facebook, it's the Healing Arts. That's the name of my company. Because I like to bring the art therapy into everything I do as well. And then a happiness tip. So, over the last, I would say, year or two, I have gotten back into something I very much enjoyed when I was a kid, and that is reading. And everyone, I feel like these days is all read self-help books, do all these things to learn, and yes, that is important. Educate yourself. Read 10 pages a day, do what you got to do, read a chapter a day. I like but you don't have to make your entire life educating yourself because you're going to get burnt out.
Mm.
You're going to get overstimulated. Give yourself permission to educate yourself while also understanding I don't have to make this everything I'm doing. So every single book I read does not have to be educational. And so I got back into reading fiction, and I recommend a good romantasy book to anyone who enjoys the romantasy. Um, Dark romantasy, I personally feel will bring you more joy. Now, and I'm not recommending this for the smut. I want to be clear. I am recommending this because fiction and fantasy specifically goes through a journey that really allows you to empathize with the shadow work journey. And it brings me so much joy to read these books and realize that, like, oh my God, she just healed her trauma. Yes.
So good.
So like probably my favorite series for that right there, and I will, is the Plated Prisoner series, guys. Just an FYI. Raven Kennedy, you're welcome.
I
For
love it.
pushing your book without any prompting. But the Plated Prisoner series, like the first book of the series is like backstory. It almost could be a prequel, but they made it the first book of the series, and it's literally just giving you a window, window
Uh-huh.
into how she thinks
Oh,
through her trauma.
wow.
It's showing you how she's reacting and responding to things while she's experiencing live trauma. Like, it's a dark romantasy. And then in the second book, she's given a glimpse into a life that could be. And she's given an opportunity and a crossroads. Do I want the life that could be better, or do I want the life that I've been experiencing because that's safe and that's what I know? And then book 3, she's trying to break away from the trauma and the life that she knows and the safety. And then book 4, the whole first half of the book is her healing her shit and just experiencing what it is to release all of that and let all of that go. Where then book 5, she's by herself and she's learning how to live life as this new version of her.
Mm.
So then in book 6, she becomes this fully ascended version, this fully awakened version, this higher self version of her. And so it is quite literally this, like, I am so happy she wrote these books in this way that I can give this example, because, like, so happy. So that brings me joy. So
Yeah.
I recommend everyone read fiction or just plain fantasy. It doesn't have to have the romance. The romance just adds to it, I think.
Right.
Um it's just an extra something for you. It's not a requirement. But the fantasy, like fantasy overall, I feel like gives you such a good glimpse into the hero's journey and how you can ascend through it. Like that brings me joy.
Yeah.
That I am able to empathize on a level simply because I'm reading books.
Yeah, totally. And it just like helping you watch that journey. It's also just very, what's the word? It's encouraging, I guess, like as you're on your own journey, very likely. And just kind of having that, like, I don't, it's not support, but like almost like a mirror, if you will, like
Exactly.
to an extent. Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh,
Hmm.
I love it. Well, thank you so freaking much for coming on. I cannot say that enough. Like, so glad we finally got to do this. And
Yes.
everybody go follow Christy right now.
I'm very
Oh,
excited. Yes. All right. Thank you for having me.
thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of the Ready to Rise podcast. It means so much to me to have you here and to get to share all of this with you. If this one resonated, literally just send this to a friend, share it with her right now, because there's so many women out there who really need this information. And I would also love it if you could take a quick screenshot, throw it up on Instagram, tag me at Hello Audrey Rose so that I can connect with you and get to know you. But thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so much. Have a blessed and beautiful day, and I will see you next time.